I don't even know what's happening. Like, I know he's doing all this, but guess he's got a remote on his pocket. This is amazing. Yeah, he's got a control panel on his pocket. He's just doing everything with the trailer and everything from it. Huh? Why didn't you just drive that all the way here? Okay. Amazing. Well, kind of an exciting day down on the farm. Finally got a storage container, albeit used and only a 20-footer, but there was purpose behind that as well. I've got big plans for this little storage container. It's awfully windy outside. We may take a little stroll around the outside. I mean, it's a storage container and it's not too exciting. But let's talk about what the plan is and why I'm doing it. Hey, you just keep walking, mister. Go on. Good. Gotta keep an eye on these guys every second. Anyway, as you can see, I have a storage problem. We've got a pile of lumber here from Lowe's the other day. Within that door, and we'll get into what that looks like in a second, that's an embarrassment and a catastrophe. A catastrophe. Ultimate plans, whether they ever come to fruition or not, I would love to add onto the shed and have my own business shop on the yard. These two rooms in this original old granary are just packed with inventory and stuff. Stuff that I can't get rid of because I may need legitimately for restorations. Sure, there is some frivolous garbage as well, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Ultimately, I would love, there's a dividing door between the two grain bins, or a dividing wall, as there was with all of these. In this building, there's 5 of these doors originally on each side with your center concrete aisle, and they would have been used for the storage of grain. So there is still a dividing wall there. I want to knock that out, finish out the walls and the ceiling like I have with so many other rooms in here, make it nice, and then line 3 walls at least. That'd be about a 10 by 20 space in there. Line it with shelves, and that could be storage. However, I have absolutely no place to put everything that is in those 2 rooms. Ultimately, I've always wanted a little bit more outside storage, but it is very difficult for me to justify buying a 20-foot container, even this used one, nowadays, post the joke that was the Biden era, you know, $3,000 to get a used one here. You know, 5 years ago, it would have been less than half that price. But that's where we are right now. I deliberated on if I could get a repo shed storage building. But this just, the maintenance on this is zero. You know, there's nothing as far as looks goes. It's a storage container, but it is water and rodent free, and it is what it is. I would have loved to put $3,000 towards adding on concrete, whatever, on the building. But I've got to do something somewhere. So the plan is, this pile of lumber that I have here, 8 footers, 10 footers, 12 footers, is going to make a 2 foot by 20 foot ish shelf along the entire one wall of the storage container. Then we're going to start moving out. I hope I can empty the majority of what's in there onto the shelves. Along the other wall, I plan on putting a lot of engines that I have sitting around. Some are even outside, which is a dirty shame, but they've been outside for 50 years, you know, so, you know. And we'll get into more of that as we go along. So, first things first, it is very windy out there, so I'm going to set up a saw, and we'll probably do most of our building of the actual shelves in the container because I just don't have a big enough open space right now in here. So let's get to work. Back in the echo chamber here. By the way, I said we'd take a walk around it. You already saw it from the outside. Okay, so workable interior length is 19 feet. 4 inches, we're going to just take 19 feet, I think. I bought 12 10-footers, so we will start chopping those all down to 9.5 feet. That's a baker's dozen. No, just a regular dozen. 10-footers. Cut down to 9.5 on the amputee special. It's really trying to do at that work height. It's trying to do open heart surgery, but we're not going to let it. Anyway, I got 4 8-footers, so I'm going to chop those all up into 21-inch lengths. Do that next. Okay, now I have 5 12-footers, and I'm going to turn that into 10 6-footers. Well, now I have sheep going in the shed, so I better get over there and kick them out before they leave me this year's supply of jelly beans. There's the 6-footers. We will... Good grief! Be right back. Okay, a lot of you have seen this before, so we're just going to breeze through it. I got to get rid of the stuff in my pockets. I can't stand working with stuff in my pocket. I can work with a pocket knife. Anyway, you've seen me do this before on a smaller scale. And we're going to do 2-foot wide shelves, just under 20 foot long. I'm going to have 5 legs total, 10 legs total, 5 going down each side. And then I'm going to have a cross brace each 5 feet, corresponding with those legs for extra support. So I'm just going to kind of breeze through this, slap them together, and we will move on. I need to get this done as soon as possible so I don't waste a whole lot of work hours doing this. Well, the guy didn't even follow his own original plan. I meant to only do these 21-inch cross pieces every 5 feet in line with the legs, but I just got busy, and of course it's not 5 feet anymore now that we cut it down to 19 and a half, so it's 57 inches in the center of the 10 foot and then 28 and a half. So every 28 and a half inches, there's one of these. So I'm going to need not quite twice as many 21 inchers, but however many more that work, for 12 more. So now I'm going to have to go around and scavenge for 2x4s, because I don't really know if I even have any. I may have some really old stuff out of one of these old buildings, which would be okay for shelves. But I just think I'm doing it, and the more support this thing has got, the better, considering we're putting car parts on it. So, gotta keep going. Alright, well, it turns out if I want to do them like this, it's going to take 11 more 21 inchers. I've already got more than half of those just off of cast off, cut off pieces from inside the shed there from previous projects and so forth, which is good. Now I spent right around $100 on all this labor yesterday, or on all this wood yesterday, which I don't know if that seems high price to you or not. Everything seems high price to me personally. And your labor is definitely worth something, especially if you're like me and you're self-employed, and a project like this may not necessarily make you money, but it's, you know, in the long run, it's going to make you more efficient, and it's going to be so much easier to access inventory and keep everything straight. And I can't stand a dirty shop, and I've had one for way too long. Speaking in round numbers, 2x20 on each shelf, 40 square feet, times 3 is 120. If you count the floor, which we're certainly going to use the floor, 160 square feet of shelving space for $100, depending on how you build it. Which I would dare you to try to accomplish that with that amount of money with put together shelves. And they aren't going to hold nothing. Well, she's coming together. I'm gonna clean up for the evening what I need to clean up. I may get out some sheets of OSB and start getting ready to rip them, but most likely that's gonna wait till tomorrow. I'm kind of whooped, you know. Anyway, half the problem is these knuckleheads keep messing with stuff. This guy's chewing on the shelves as we speak. So, anyway, it's all fun. Ooh. Hello? It's scary in there. Well, today I have a lot going on. We're working with resin. My son and I really want to get something going for the 1940 Chevy pickup project. I'll be distracted by that. I've got a guy coming to pick up that Silver King parts tractor that we used obviously for parts in our restoration. He's coming to get that. I'm going to start somewhere with this mess and pulling stuff out of there, but I've got to finish up the shelves in the container first. So let's start with that. Are you going to help me? Where are you going? Slacker. I will at least do a little bit of a before about this travesty, you know. We got 292 heads back in there. This is all digging, metal detecting, boxes of stuff I've dug from sites. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. That doesn't matter. The main thing is, well, there's the 292 flywheel. The main thing is in here, we're just going to keep the lights off for now. It looks better that way. But you know, you can't even get in. So I've got this little metal shelf. Maybe I'll get a light in here. I don't think I really want to, but I'm going to try to dig to that metal shelf. That is all that inventory I have listed on eBay of Delco and AC Delco parts for generators, starters, all of that kind of thing. I didn't really want to, but I'm going to put that metal shelf clear in the end between the engine blocks and the wooden shelf. It's not too deep. It won't get into too much mischief. And just give me a little bit more shelving that I can keep all of that inventory on, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to start digging to that. This piece of glass, that's listed on eBay. I'm not sure that box of Delco stuff. Some of these things I kept because I thought they had value for me. But anyway. Oh boy. An air compressor I've never bothered to hook up. Now I realize that 0.01% of you might be interested in doing this for yourselves. So just for your information, if you're not doing it in a 20-foot storage container and you want to do a full 20 feet, you're going to need 4 sheets of something. OSB, plywood, the faux brick paneling out of Granny's rumpus room, whatever you use, you're going to need 4 sheets of it. You're going to rip 3 lengthwise. So you're going to end up with 6 2x8 sheets. And then the 4th one, you're going to cut into 4 quarters. So you'll have 4 2x4 sheets. And that'll get you your 20 feet. If you want the seams above a rung, or a gusset, or a whatever you want to call them, then you're going to have to either alter the length of your sheets or do something different than I did with your rungs to space them out accordingly. Since I'm at 19 feet, I ended up cutting my 8-footers down to 85.5, and then the 3 short pieces at 57. Yeah. And then that final quarter 2x4 that you have left over, save it for a rainy day. Make Granny a picture so you soothe her indignation, you know, over your kind of decimating her rumpus room. But anyway. I need to go get some screws. All right, just a few screws, you know, to say we did something and call it good. Not like that. There, okay. I guess I can start moving stuff. Oh, haha, missed you. I've been digging my factory AC system out of my Corvair here, and just reminded me I was talking to a friend, Mike. Hey Mike, I'm sure you're watching. And apparently his son, he as well, but his son is big time into Corvairs and retrofitted a modern AC compressor onto a Corvair and put the condenser somewhere up front. I gotta talk to him and figure out what all they did. That is a much more attractive option to me if I ever want to run AC again in the Corvair than this thing sitting on the engine. You know, that just starves that engine for cooling as far as I'm concerned. And that sounds, what he did sounds like a much better option. Why don't you want to open all the way? Oh, cylinder bore thing. But we certainly can't throw this one out, right? That wouldn't make any sense. Alrighty. I braved the wind and just ran with it, you know? That'll be okay for now. Well, that's pretty much it for the Delco stuff. I have actually been pleasantly surprised how much of this I have actually moved. And, you know, hey, it can hang out here a few more years and maybe we'll move some more stuff. Got some other things, parts and pieces that I've come across or bought the wrong things or whatnots, you know, and those are listed. Same with Carter rods. I bought a whole big lot. I think I went over that with you a long time ago at one point or another, and had a box full of these things listed on eBay, and I've moved quite a few of those so they can stay, and if a guy needs them somewhere in the world, he'll be able to find them. And I put a light in here so you can share the horror. That's the corner where that shelf sat, you know, and it was reasonably difficult to get to. I think I'm going to try to stack these bags of insulation. I actually threw several up there as well. I'm going to try to stack them in that corner for now so they're out of the way and keep diving farther in here. Well, I'm making a path. What we have here, this is a vintage pressure washer pump. My grandpa in the 60s at his service station put in a wash bay, and I do believe this is the pump and motor that ran the thing, believe it or not. Pretty cool, eh? And for some reason I thought I needed it. Original original GM rear panel for a Corvair. Also 2 salvaged cowlings from a green car. Also a C-130 Hercules. With the buffest general I've ever seen in my life. Man, we broke a bottle. Shoot. I don't have many more left, you know. Also we see peeking left front fender, brand new old stock. And also from the 60s, early 60s cab fender there. All good stuff. All of this basket here, and maybe the crate. Maybe a lot more. All extras, bits and pieces from my 64 Impala that didn't need to go with the car. So that's fun. Let's see, we got rear emblem, surrounds and tail lights and headlight rings and all kinds of stuff. Center to a hubcap. Empty K&N box. Oh no, it's in there. We can throw that out. Beauty rings. Oh, there's some other stuff in there. I think that's 54 Chevy pickup hood emblem. And a buggy step, because why not? Cabinets all open. What will the neighbors think? God. Came across a nice, pretty slick little set of Chevy dog dishes, you know. That's pretty cool. And then got a stack of clutch cooling fans, and this one looks suspiciously like the Nova, Camaro, etc. little one with 7 blades that I just bought for the 40 Chevy pickup project. So that's good. Loading that Silver King took longer than expected. I don't know if I'm gonna, anyone alive in there? I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of all this today or not. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. There's an oldie, but a goodie. Now to just hang that up. Got to be about the first pull tab Pepsis, a little Coke. Nonsense. Just in case you guys were worried I didn't have enough glass pop bottles laying around. Never fear, I've got 2 full totes at the other shop for some reason. I don't know. Oh, this is kind of cool. Certified Chevrolet Technician Master Award 1972-1973. What does a guy finally do with this stuff? You got a, well, you got a little, you know, I guess beers with the boys kind of thing going on here. The Master Award. You got the mugs and the beer tray that says that all on there. All plastic, of course. What's the guy gonna do with it? I don't know. Maybe he should get some friends. Ha ha! Unlikely. This is not encouraging. a guy has got a ton of stuff in the container, and I'm still looking at a huge mess. And I've been chucking things out the door. There is a lot of trash in here, stuff that, you know, containers that I've saved and just never used, and cardboard junk, you know. Anyway, a couple of things for show and tell. I think I've talked about them in the past, but I never showed them. So this would be my grandpa's old Sturdi-Bilt exhaust manifold. My uncle from the other side of the family, my mom's brother, he said welded this on for him, this second dual outlet there. Now it doesn't look like they ever put a baffle or a block off, you know, in there. So it was just open to whichever one they chose to go through. And I've always wanted to put a 235, 216, whatever together and run that on it on a project. Pretty sure Grandpa had it on a early 40s, like a 41 pick. I forget what year exactly he drove. 41, but anyway, there was that. And then for a very short period of time on my 64 Impala, whoop, one of the piston tops came off. We needed to rebuild the 283, and so Dad bought a 69 3/4 ton Chevy pickup with a 350 in it, and we threw the 350 in the Impala, and all went well for a while till one morning on my way to school, the engine started knocking, and I was like, well, great. I was worried about it all day in school, you know, and Grandpa's shop was, let's say 2 blocks maximum from the high school parking lot. So I was just going to take her easy and get it to the shop that afternoon, and I didn't make it too far. And there was a horrendous bang, and it shut down immediately. And this is some of the catastrophic event that we pulled apart, you know, when we took that 350 apart. So we got, the crank was broken in 3 chunks. These were the worst of the rods. She just done imploded on me. So I've always kind of kept that as a thing to, you know, a little trophy. Maybe a guy should put it on a shelf again for a change. But you're starting to get a sense of what this should look like. I've still got so much in here. A bunch of the stuff, old radio, the plane, the tumbler and tray set, you know, they're made of plastic. My RC car, it's a piece of junk. That I wouldn't want in that hot container in the middle of August anyway. All of these wire racks I got from a hardware store from a friend. What is a guy ever gonna do with all this? I should just throw a bunch of it out, honestly. But so the long range plans here continue nibbling away at this, throwing garbage away. Got an old school bias ply tire down there and another rally rim. And then ceiling, walls, insulation, of course, walls, and then floor to ceiling shelves. At least 3 walls, if not this one as well. But we will also knock out, and there you can see sorry, I'm getting distracted. Some of my repairs from the inside of the termite damage, if you guys remember that. We will knock this wall out and go into the next room, do the same thing, and then just have basically, in round numbers, 10 by 20 of storage, basically like just another storage container out there, but inside. And these would be my more day-to-day nuts and bolts, higher dollar things I want to save kind of parts room in here. It does not matter how far open I open this stinking door, it still blows shut. Anyway, how did all this fit in that room? I don't know, but I'm starting to get some semblance of organization in here. Again, this is all just to clean those rooms out. Now, I have brought some blocks because it was convenient. I sold a block, and I just brought the whole pallet full in the bed of my pickup from Dad-in-law's warehouse and put them in here because they will end up here anyway, eventually. But, you know, things that can be grouped together, I'm grouping together. And we will go from there. Long-range goal, once the thing is done in the shed, a lot of this may go back over there, though not everything, certainly. I would like one of these containers for inventory. I would love another set of shelves along the other side. And then I would like to get a second container for engines, blocks. I would love to do double tier, so build a rack strong enough to hold more blocks above it, or buy it, you know, and go that route. And then on these hooks, hang a track system, so crossbars, a central track, have a electric winch on a, come on, not pulling the thing, the roller system, track system for a winch. I'm not coming up. Gantry? No, I don't, anyway. So a guy could come in here, just have long rows of blocks, and you could just hook onto the one you want, pick it up out of the pile, and then slide it to the front door and load it up. That would be the ultimate goal here. Remember the days when you could go to the parts store and buy things like stainless headlight bezels off the rack? It wasn't that long ago, but yet it seems like forever. You can't buy nothing anymore. So why did I do a 20-footer? Ultimately, you know, it's kind of questionable. Are we going to stay here long-term through retirement? Are we going to move? I don't know. We have to figure all of that out yet. But I'm thinking 20-footers. I would prefer 2 of them in the end, like I just said. They would be much, much easier for me to move them. A guy could hire one of these payloaders with forks. A lot of farmers around here have them, or whatever, construction company, whatever. They could just pick this thing up, set it on a gooseneck trailer, and I take it to where I'm going, or whatever. Just much, even around the yard. If I need to scoot it back, it's much, much easier to do 1/2 the size. I think you'd agree. So ultimately, I thought I would much rather have 2 20-footers versus 1 40-footer. I could already fill a whole nother container. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have more work to do. Guys, if I want to get this video out, it's about 4 o'clock. If I want to get this video out, I had better start working on that, you know. So, plus, I'm just plain pooped. Anyway, we've been doing resin projects, loading Silver King tractors, and this mess. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's not the usual content, but thank you so much for those of you who came along for the ride anyway. We have a lot more to do, and a lot more is coming up. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.